Hello.
Welcome to Psychanooga.
I'm your co-host, Bethany Cawthorn.
And I'm your other co-host, James Grant.
So today we talked to Dr. Ross, who is, the faculty advisor, professor
Yes, we talked to Dr. Ross, the faculty advisor for MPS, and then we talked to Taylor Claxton, the editor-in-chief and graduate teaching assistant for MPS.
Okay.
Yeah, MPS, or Modern Psychological Studies, is an undergraduate journal. So we take undergrad papers and we review them and we publish them. The most common one we see is literature reviews, I would say, but we also get some research that people do.
Okay.
So it is exclusively undergrad. If you're a professor, if you're a grad student, you can't publish as the main person.
Yeah. So what does that process kind of look like for, submitting research or literature reviews to MPS? What does that process look like?
Once you've done, the research and you type it up, we have our website where it gives you the guidelines, and you submit it like any other article you would submit.
Okay.
Some of the things that we require, you have to take off the title page, so we don't want to see your name or anything.
Yeah.
Taylor and Dr. Ross see the name, or they have access to it, but the editors don't see it. We ask little things like that.
I guess that's to prevent bias, or
bias.
Okay.
Now I say that pretty often it stays in there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Have you ever had somebody submit something?
Mm-mm.
Oh, okay.
But we see the names pretty often, maybe more often than we're not. If we see someone without the title page, we're like, yeah, someone finally did it. But no, you're supposed to remove the title page. That's probably because if someone from UTC wants to do it, none of us know them or know that it's them.
But if somebody from University of Georgia or somebody submitted it, then nobody's gonna really know that person, most likely, anyways.
Yeah. We got a paper from Turkey 2 weeks ago.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. That's cool.
But no, and what'll happen once you submit it is the editorial board looks over it for a week, and we give our own verdict on it, and that's in the form of our review sheets that we submit. And then in class, we vote on it once we discuss it.
Yeah. Why did you join MPS?
So I joined MPS. The first time I heard about it was in Dr. Walker's Psych as a Profession class.
Mm-hmm.
And they only started doing that last year, so fall of 2023. That was the first time they presented it, which I think is a fantastic idea because it needs more exposure.
Yeah.
But I heard about it there, and then we did an episode on it last semester.
Right.
And apparently this is the case for a lot of people, but I saw that Dr. Ross was the faculty advisor, and then I talked to him about it, and then I signed up. So Dr. Ross being attached to it was one of the big reasons behind it.
Yeah. Dr. Ross seems like a really cool guy, and I hate that I couldn't be there with the interview because he seems cool.
Yeah.
And me and him connected by both being partially deaf, so I think I think when I told him that, he seemed to light up oh my gosh, somebody else like me.
Yeah.
So I thought that was cool.
Honestly, it's pretty brutal in there. We catch a lot. You'd be surprised what some people submit.
Oh gosh.
But
well, it is an undergrad, so I'm sure a lot of people are just trying to submit to get their name out there, or put on their CV that they've published something. What is your favorite part of MPS?
it's honestly, academically speaking, maybe the best part of my week.
Really?
The best, you walk in there, you get to feel accomplished as a psychology student because you get to, 2 weeks ago, the author credited John Bowlby as creating the attachment styles of secure, avoidant, and anxious avoidant.
Yeah.
John Bowlby is the father of attachment theory. He's very important.
Right.
But Mary Ainsworth and her strange situation experiment they took the attachment styles from that. So, I caught that in the paper, and you get to feel really accomplished with the things that you catch.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
And, feel like you know things, because I feel like a lot, especially once you reach the junior and senior level, and if you've just been taking classes over and over again, you don't really get to apply what you learn. Mm-hmm. You're just learning. And we're really in a good spot. I'm on MPS, we have the podcast, we get to apply what we do.
Right.
But it's a rare opportunity that looks really good on a CV to be part of an editorial board. So here's the interview with Dr. Ross and Taylor Claxton. Yeah, well, thank y'all for being here. A little last minute, but we have Dr. Ross from the psychology department. And we also have Taylor Claxton here. Did I say that right?
Yep.
Taylor Claxton. Taylor is the graduate teaching assistant for
teaching
MPS.
assistant, and then editor-in-chief.
Editor-in-chief, the main title. And then Dr. Ross is the faculty supervisor for it.
Yes.
So, Dr. Ross, could you tell us a little bit about kind of the origins of MPS, where it started?
Well, it started here at the department by Ralph Hood. 1992 was the first edition. And Dr. Hood has an international reputation in psychology of religion and had developed the journal Psychology of Religion.
Mm-hmm.
And then as an offshoot to that, had the idea of developing an undergraduate journal for psychology majors.
Mm-hmm.
And at that point in time, there was only one other one in existence in the country.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really Ralph Hood's idea completely. And then I came here in 95 and took over the journal. And I've been the faculty supervisor ever since.
Mm-hmm. So is that uniqueness of it kind of what inspired him to make it, do you know?
Yeah, and it was actually his idea that there wasn't any outlet for undergraduates
Mm-hmm.
to showcase their research. So it was a great idea, and there was only one other one in existence at the time, and there's still not very many.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very unique, and it remains unique.
Mm-hmm. As you've been over it, how's it changed from how Dr. Hood made it versus how you've kind of run it?
Well, I took it and had it for about 20 years, and we were a paper and pencil journal.
Mm-hmm.
And we only had, at max, we were at 32 subscriptions.
Mm-hmm.
And we had no real way of publicizing it. We did it with college campuses, college libraries. Some of them bought our subscription. I think it was $13 a year.
Mm-hmm.
I was taking the copies to Kinko's and copying them myself and putting them in the mail. And every semester we'd send out email blasts trying to get people to subscribe and try to build our memberships and readership. It just didn't work until 2017. And one of the editors of MPS had the idea, a graduate student, and said, why don't we see if we can put this online, open access. And I said, I'll try anything. Anything. And the library had just acquired all the software to do it. And they were amazing. There's a young man in our UTC library, a historian, an archivist, who scanned all the back issues of MPS and uploaded them. So we had an MPS portal that we have now where reviewers can submit their papers, and also where people can go and read MPS, because we've never charged open access anyone, readers or authors, to publish or to read, which I really want to maintain. So it's truly available to everyone, and it took off. In 2017 to date, we are now read in 224 countries. 1.4 million MPS articles have been downloaded, and we're literally in every country in the world. Some student somewhere is downloading and reading MPS articles. And our growth curve hasn't stopped at all. We're climbing exponentially. We get about 20 to 25, sometimes 30,000 downloads a month. So 5,000 to 7,000 a week, almost 1,000 a day of MPS articles. We are the most widely read undergraduate psychology journal in the world, by far. Nobody else is even close to what we are. And I think what happened is that we had developed over the years a very good journal. Scientifically, we were very good. The work we published was really good. But we just didn't have a mechanism to market it until we put it online. And then those two things worked together, and the journal exploded. And that's where we are now.
Yeah. That's incredible.
Yeah, it's a neat journey from rags to riches.
Yeah.
And then large part of that readership is just that a lot of it's in like less economically
Absolutely.
advantaged countries.
Yep.
So it being open access is a big part of why we have that readership.
And I'm very proud of the philanthropic nature of it.
Mhm.
Is we, as Taylor said, a lot of our readers are in third world countries that don't have APA journals at their fingertips like we do, or like American institutions do.
Mm-hmm.
And it may be the only research they can get a hold of.
Mm-hmm.
But it also gives people from around the world, undergraduates, an opportunity to submit their articles to MPS, and we get articles from all over the world. So it's a really neat philanthropic, educational, provides incredible opportunities for the people who contribute to the journal to read the journal, but also the editorial board, who's the class, the MPS class, who reviews the journal. Because I don't make the decisions on who publishes. We're run entirely by undergrads. We have a graduate student who's mentoring the course, but the decisions are made by the undergraduates. We don't vote. And it's incredibly unique, to have the journal and have a journal that's run by students. Because a number of the other undergraduate journals have faculty editorial boards, or they also publish faculty research. We're one that's only student publications, only student editorial board. And that makes us completely unique around the world.
So Taylor, what are some of your first memories or experiences with MPS? Like, how'd you get into it?
So my first semester serving on the editorial board was a summer semester, and I didn't know what it was. I just registered for it because I saw Dr. Ross teaches it, and just instantly loved it. The editor-in-chief at the time was Ciara, and she did a great job of training me, teaching me to read stuff, and getting to serve on the board and read about so many different topics was something I really loved. So I took the class again after that in the fall, taking it in person, and then after that served as a TA and have now taken over as editor-in-chief. But really just getting to be a part of reviewing all of these undergraduate manuscripts and helping students improve their work and get it published has been a really enjoyable opportunity. I would say that's one of my favorite part is reading the manuscript submitted. Also just getting to work with the students as editorial board members is really great, and getting to teach them and share things that I've learned by taking the class.
And this can be for both of you, but what are your favorite memories of doing MPS? Because I'm in it, and I find it's a very lively and energetic class. So what are some of your favorite moments? Maybe in broad strokes of like, I like it when this happens, or in specific memories of things that have happened.
I guess one memory is more of just something I thought was funny, but one of the manuscripts we read, like the week of Thanksgiving one semester, the author said, like, instead of 2 keys test, turkey test. That was just a very fun class.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think much the same. It's a high energy exchange. It's pretty rowdy. But I think one of the major memories I've had when I'm looking back at MPS after 30 years is the first time I saw, we have what's called an interactive map when we went online, where I can see how many people have downloaded MPS articles. The first month that we had it up, we were several thousand. I just couldn't believe it. I just almost didn't believe it.
Yeah.
We went from 20 years of 32 subscriptions to over 1,000 in a month. And it's just like unbelievable. And just watching it shoot like a meteorite in the sky was just so fulfilling, because we put so much work over all those years. I was like, nobody read it. We didn't have a vehicle to get it out, and then all of a sudden, boom, it happened all at once.
Like overnight success.
It was overnight. It was literally, it took right off. The first week we had like 750 downloads. That's more readership than we've had in the whole history of it.
Yeah.
You know? And it just never stopped. And it's really special. A lot of big R1 schools have tried to run a journal like this, and it's not easy. I mean, we have a class, and we've been blessed that we always have enough papers. We've never run short. 30 years, I've never run short on papers. In other journals, they do.
Yeah.
I've been amazed just this semester, starting off as editor-in-chief. We've gotten plenty of submissions, and I was a little worried at first, but it doesn't seem like that's getting enough papers is going to be a concern.
Yeah.
And I think that's our reputation and the quality of our journal. You pull up our portal, it looks just like a regular APA journal. From submission to readership to our description of who we are. And also, it's people like Taylor who make it work. I mean, people who are the chief editor, it lives or dies by the chief editor. You know, he's done an amazing job. So we've been blessed with a lot of talent in the leadership role. And I think students find it fun, and it's different because they learn about research in a different way. They evaluate research. You know, often many of them haven't done research, but they learn how to evaluate it and then to do it. You know, it's a very different. It helps their writing skills, their reasoning skills. So it's just been a win-win for everybody, and that's what makes MPS really, really special. You know.
I would say in all of my undergraduate experience, I learned the most in MPS. Just because you get introduced to so many different topics, and I always enjoyed looking more into it and sort of fact-checking and getting the information I needed to review it, and then just learning how to write was a really big part of it too.
Yeah, and the editorial board ends up interacting with students all over the world. You know, and what they put out is going to be read around the world, which is pretty amazing. You know, it's not another undergrad journal that's got the clout that we have. You know.
So, wrapping up, is there, moving forward with MPS, are there any plans that you have or any hopes for the future of the journal that you've been thinking about? Seems like you're at a pretty good place.
It's a great thing. I did have an idea, and I've been kicking it around in my head for years, about doing, because it's never been done, an undergraduate, take the best 15 to 20 articles that have appeared in MPS and put them into an undergraduate psychological research edited volume that could be used by methods classes and stats classes and anything involving teaching research. You know, we can read an article, dissect it, you know, make it a learning tool. And also to show the world what undergraduates are doing. We get some of our articles could go mainstream journals. They really could. So I thought about that. The other thing I thought about was having a symposium at APA or APS where I invite the other 4 or 5 well-established undergraduate journals and doing a symposium on that. And then maybe writing an article for Frontiers of Psychology, all of us write a different chapter or different paper, you know, to kind of get the word out that, hey, we're here, you know. And this is a real thing. Europe has probably the next best undergraduate journal. They haven't been around as long as we have, but the European Union has unified their undergraduates to produce a journal that's very, very good. And so it'd be neat to hook up with them, you know. So
I think for me, it's just making sure that we stay on track and keep publishing articles and getting the same readership. That keeps increasing at the rate that it has been. And like Dr. Ross said, any way we can get the word out and increase our readership would be something I'd love to do during my time as editor-in-chief.
Yeah. Well, any last thoughts, any comments?
I think the only thing I would probably change, and I'm not sure how to do it, was make more of our students aware of MPS. I still think on that dimension, and I'm not very good with that. You know, so you might have much better thoughts than me.
One thing we've started in the past year or so is discussing it each semester at Dr. Walker's profession of psychology class. I don't think we've been doing that long enough for it to have a huge impact yet. I think it's been 3 semesters. But if we keep doing that, every psych major should know what MPS is.
So then you guys started when Dr. Walker started teaching the class last fall.
I guess that must be right.
You mean in terms of you going into the class and talking about MPS?
Mm-hmm.
Because that's when I heard about it, was when I took Psych's profession that fall. I heard about it in that class. And then for our first semester of the podcast, Bethany and I did like a review of 2 of the papers from the article and then doing this. So that's how I heard about it, was Psych as a profession.
Oh, really?
Which is really good because most of them are freshmen.
They are?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that gets put in the back of their heads.
That it's there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because we like to have students take it more than one semester, which they can.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of our students take it at least 2.
Yeah.
So which is great because they're trained.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they
And a
can-
big part of it is teaching each other during class.
Mhm.
And when you have students retaking it, they can kind of take on a teacher type role.
Mm-hmm.
And it is fun to watch the reviewers get better over the class.
Mm-hmm.
You get quite accomplished, sometimes too much. So, you know, gotta watch how critical that this is still undergraduate work. You know?
Yeah.
And they have limited resources, but
Mm-hmm.
but it's just, all in all, I don't see a negative or anything that's, oh my gosh, I wish I could change. You know, just I think I wish there was some way we could have a bigger class that gets so hard because it's so intensive interaction. You know, we couldn't do it with 50 people.
Right.
You know, and have chaos. Even more chaos.
It's already chaotic.
It's already chaos.
Yeah.
You know, so we have what? How many we got in there? 13, 15?
This semester is 17.
17.
Usually we have in the low 20s,
Do we
mid-20s, I think.
Do we have that many? Yeah. So, but that's the only frustrating part. We can't have multiple sections in it or something.
Mhm.
Right.
So, but hopefully it'll keep going. We don't see any reason why it wouldn't. Our readership continues. We've been on a steady curve, going up and up. We've not leveled off yet.
Mm-hmm.
So I know I'm looking forward to hitting 2 million. That's what I'm hoping this time next year we might be close.
Yeah.
We're about 30,000, 40,000 a month.
I think you can
I
do that.
I think we'll get
In the
there.
last year and a half, we've gone up 300,000 or 400,000, I think.
Isn't that crazy? Yeah. From a journal that went from 32 subscribers to this. But we've always had high quality work.
Right.
And high quality reviews. We had the quality of the journal. That's what was so frustrating. I couldn't figure out how to market it
Mm-hmm.
until this grad student came up with the idea. And in perfect timing because the library had just gotten the technology and there was a person there who loved doing this kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Making the, scanning all the background journals and stuff. I can't believe he did that.
Yeah.
And uploading them and making the program and the portal, and it works great.
Mm-hmm.
Just great. In the past, we were always losing papers. Everything was paper.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it was awful. You know, now we have it's so easy and efficient. We know where everything is. And, you know.
Well, yeah. Thank y'all so much for
Thank
being
you.
here.
Thank you for
Doing the
highlighting
review.
MPS for us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Look forward to hearing it.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I'd suggest if you're at all interested in doing MPS, it is a great thing to do. It looks great on a resume. Either doing MPS or submitting work you do to it looks fantastic on a resume or CV. So I would highly suggest looking into it.
Yeah, and that work can not only be research study, but it can be literature reviews too.
You can do a literature review. So recently we had one that talked about comorbidity of PTSD and eating disorders, which looked at the research between the two. You could do something like that.
Right. Okay. I like that. Okay. Well, thank you guys for listening. I've been your co-host, Bethany Cawthron.
And I've been your other co-host, James Grant.
Catch us next time on Psychanooga.